in Myrtle Beach. So enjoying the beach while it's still there.
Is that what you were talking about earlier, Mary?
Yes, yes. Carla, you'll have to invoke the 21st ray of climate control. So
Oh,
really, really helps. So
all right.
remember to do that.
All right. That's on my calendar to do because tomorrow it hits. So
Tomorrow
I've already started.
oh yeah, it has, but not up this way yet. So.
No, but I mean, I've already started invoking the ray.
Oh, I should do that.
You don't have to wait. Yeah. You don't have to
Okay.
wait.
All right. I will start doing that.
Good.
Yeah, better to do it before it hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been sending my intentions out. Yeah, but not the ray. So thank you for that.
We can thank BJ for that.
Thank you, BJ.
And all of her wonderful people.
Is Andrew on here today? I can't remember if he was going to be on or not.
I don't think he was going to be on. I think that's what he said last night when I talked to him. But
Okay.
he changes his mind. He's got his acting class. I know that may conflict with his getting enough rest report, I think he said, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So he could pop on and there he'll be.
Okay, I'll talk to him later because I had a message from him, for him.
Oh, okay. Very good.
I had a message for a few people, which I don't usually get. So he was one of them. So Mary, if you happen to talk to him before me, tell him socially distanced, don't wear his mask.
Okay. I know he was worried about that.
Yeah, he should not.
Yeah.
Because it will cause some anxiety for him. That has nothing to do with respect or anything else. And I got that really, really, really strongly. So.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Cindy. That will help him tremendously.
Yeah, just tell him I heard that loud and clear this morning. Mary, I heard that you are supposed to, you have something you know you're supposed to work on that you keep avoiding, and you're supposed to start working on it, and you have to stay until you are needed right now, and you will be asked to stay until this cup is full, whatever that means, until we pass this cup. And I have a few other messages that I'll talk about too. And I don't always know exactly what they mean because they can be cryptic at times, but they will get clearer as time goes along. So I just want to say welcome everybody. This is Cindy with Energized Living Today. And today I want to just start off again by telling everybody what a miracle it was. Sandy listened to her inner knowing. And when you get that strong of an inner knowing, let me get this, act on it as she did, because this is the prints, whoever the artist of the prints were that I had saved to my computer. I did a screen cap in May, and I wanted to know who the artist was because I knew whoever it was could draw the angels as I see them for the 7 storms. And then Sandy just had this download that she needed to have the artist, Lori, send this to me. And she did. And when I saw the business card, the thank you card, that's the very picture I saved. And so, and that was back in May. And when you get a download like that, remember you're helping co-create a miracle. Act on it. It doesn't have to be this grand, all of a sudden this happened, synchronicities. are also miracles. These intuitions that we have that we act on and we go, oh my gosh, I just had that feeling and I knew, and you helped co-create a miracle. So I just want to really reiterate to everyone, miracles come in all shapes and sizes. And sometimes we don't know their meaning until we act, like Sandy did. She took action on it. And this, you know, like I said, I was standing outside talking to my neighbor. I had just said to her, I can't draw these angels, but I see them perfectly. And I have to find the person that can do this. And the mailman pulls up and hands me a package. And that's the picture that was in it. And that was the very one that by the very same artist that I saved the picture of. And she's amazing. I've gone through her website, and her work is incredible. And she is what she's known by, her name is Lori Bain. And here's what's interesting. I kept writing Bain, 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 Bain all over things. I kept writing the word Bain. And I thought, Bain, why am I getting Bain? Bane of my existence, Bane of, you know, why would I get Bain? And then when I got this and saw it was Lori Bain, I just thought, oh my gosh. But if you look at my doodle pad, you'll see that the word Bain is on there, but I didn't have a reason to understand it at that time. And it's Primal Painter. That's what she's known as, the Primal Painter. And she wrote this, I should have looked at this after the call the other night, but she actually said, thank you to Sandra, because you are the one that, you know, just got the download that this needed to be sent to me. And I want to really encourage everybody to act on those really strong knowings, because when you push them away, they won't go away. That's how you know that they're the right ones. You push them and they're like, nope, they're still right there. So that must mean I act on them. It's very important to do that, because we were told we would all be part of this journey, not just me, not just Ferris. We are all, as a collective, part of this journey. So act on your knowing. Ferris, do you have any announcements that you want
to? None other than let's keep it unpersonal.
Yeah. Although I started off personal.
Yeah. When we have our channeling, please don't come in with the personal questions.
Yeah. If I get something, I'm going to relay it, just like I did really strongly with Andrew. What I saw was I was actually waking up this morning, and it was like I was in Andrew's body, and I had on a mask, and I started coughing and feeling scared inside, and like I was being trapped. And I thought, he can't do this. He can't. Some people just can't wear a mask. And if that is you, know that, but practice everything else. All the other social distancing, washing your hands, staying out of crowds, and that kind of stuff. But particularly for him, it was really, really, really strong. So we've got to, you know, if you get a download like that, pass it on to somebody if you know that it's from a true source. So otherwise, I will just keep it this about the world, because that is what this whole channeling is all about, these messages that we are being sent. And God actually gave me a lot the other day, just talking. I was talking directly to God, and all this information started pouring in. So I want to talk about that. But in order for us to stay safe and secure, and know that, you know, no dark energy tries to seep in, I love to go to the world viewing room. So let's go ahead and just start by going there. And let's just relax our shoulders, or loosen up our shoulders, everybody. Let's do this. Doesn't that just feel good though? Just to kind of loosen up, we'll just put a little music in there. Da, 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 da. And just loosen up the shoulders a little bit, and then drop your chin. And just hang your chin for a moment. and go to the left. And to the right. And to the center. Take a nice deep breath in as you bring up your chin. And release that breath. Put your feet firmly on the floor, your palms up. And another nice deep breath in. And on the third breath, that breath will take us into the world viewing room. When two or more are gathered, the world viewing room becomes the world viewing center. We know we are protected here because we are surrounded by the light brigade. Above the light brigade are the archangels. And above them are all your angels and guides. They are here with us. Curved in the center of the room, you will see 7 prisms. On top of the prism, each prism is an angel from one of the 7 storms. In the future, they will be talking to us as a collective body. As have been rarely done, if ever, they have talked to us individually so that we could get to know them and call on them whenever we have that storm acting up in our own lives. We can also call on them as a collective. Focus out at the world through the arched window. Focus your attention on the world for a moment. I feel that many of you are feeling fear about this world. And that is a just fear. But don't focus on the fear that hurts your body. Focus on the questions that come from the fear. Why am I feeling this? What can I do? What can I know and understand that will help dissipate this fear? How can the collective council of the angels of the earth help me with these 7 storms? The answers will be given to you. Imagine yourself as a sperm and an egg. The I am present brought you together, the sperm and the egg, to unite as a being, as a living being. Soon after the I am presence has united you, you begin to divide, and then divide, and then divide. Each time that you are divided, you become united with other cells that become your heart, your liver, your intestines, your arm, your leg, your eyes, your ears, until all of that division brings into this world a beautiful being that is you. You are united. All of these cells are united in this lifetime to be of service to you. Take a moment and love on each and every cell in your body. Send gratitude to each and every cell. It is in these cells that we learn about divine order. The cells cannot be divided before they are united. We start with a structure, with the vagus nerve, and then the heart and the brain and all the other organs come in to be of service to you in this lifetime. Each one is formed from the individual cells to be of service to you. This is divine order. Even the cells that are not perfect, there is perfection in. They will serve you in some way. They will teach you something you would not know otherwise. Send them love and focus love on all the other cells around them. Do not forget them. For you are unity. You are one with all that is. Every cell is important. Every cell needs love. Just love your body. In the coming weeks, use your eyes, your ears, your voice to stand up for our liberty, for our rights. Use the perfection that is you to be the voice of truth and love and light. For those of you who can hear the sound of my voice, you are being called to act in some capacity, and you will get clear on what that is. We are part of the Light Brigade. As you look out at the world, you will see an animal to the right side. For Cindy, it is a white cat. Whatever kind of animal that is, whatever your attachment to them is, connect with that. Just turn and look at them and fill yourself with love. Because it is our animals that give us unconditional love. They are not worried about what is going on in the world. They can only feel what you are feeling. So let them fill you with love as we are going through difficult times in the next few months. Walk over to that animal and pick them up if you can. If it's a large animal, just hug them. If it's a small animal, just pick them up and hold them close and feel that connection that you have with them. Feel that love as it travels to every cell and that united body that you are in. This is the love. This is the love that will restore order. Your responsibility is to find that same love all around you. As you look into your environment, are the things around you things that invoke that kind of love? If they are not, thank them for being of service to you and give them away. Give them to someone else who needs them. For there are many people right now that are in need. Clear your energy. Clear your energy field. Clear the energy in your environment. Align your energy in your physical body. For it is our opportunity to come together united as individuals when we align our energy to be of service to humanity. Clear the way, clear the energy around you, within you, within the food that you eat. For when you are in alignment, when your body and your environment is in order, you can be of service to the grand order of the universe. You are being called. You are being called. You are being called. Take a deep breath and open your eyes. I just want to tell everybody about some of the visions I've been having and the information that I am receiving. And, you know, as I wrote in the email today, and I'm going to get up my notes here so I don't forget to say anything. You know, I don't always know right away the full story of what I'm being shown. But several days ago, I woke up, and I think I mentioned this on the call the other night, and the Statue of Liberty was right here on the right side of me next to my bed. And she wasn't looking at me. She looked like a statue. And I saw her arm in the air, but I didn't see the flame. And I looked at her and I thought she looked different. And I saw the headband she was wearing and I thought, wait a minute, aren't there supposed to be points on that? Isn't that a crown? And the points were missing. And I was told that it had something to do with I actually wasn't told, I sensed that it had something to do with the 7 storms. And I was just sure of it, but I didn't get a clear answer when I asked. And I continued to ask, does this have something to do with the 7 storms? And I went downstairs out on the back porch, and Gary joined me there a little while afterwards, and he came walking in, and I said, you won't believe this, but the Statue of Liberty was standing next to my bed this morning, and it was from the bust up, and I could see her shoulders and her face, and I could see the crown or the headband. At first I thought it was a headband, and there were no points. And I said, the points were missing. And I said, and I know it has something to, I just sense it strongly that it has something to do with the 7 storms. So he took out his phone and he said, I just saw this on the Weather Channel. And he started playing this video. And on the video, it showed a lightning bolt hitting the base of the Statue of Liberty. And I guess it had happened, what was it, Ferris, the day before or the night before or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we just, both of us were just like, oh my gosh, okay, that's confirmation. That's what I mean by when you are told something, you are going to get confirmation. Just like, you know, months ago, I was looking for the right artist to help in capturing what I see in these angels. And here Sandy gets that too. And she acts on it. And I'm connected with the person that I just felt was the right person to draw these pictures. So each time that we are shown something, look for those signs. And my husband, you know, he had no idea that I saw this. And he comes, you know, shows me this video of the storm. So the 7 storms, as we started talking, I said, you know, how many of the points are on the Statue of Liberty? And he said, I was just wondering the same thing. And somebody, I see Diane just put that in there, 7 points. I had no idea that there were 7 points. I didn't remember if it went all the way around, if it was halfway around till we started looking at it. And there are 7 points. And right now, those 7 points are gone in my vision. And I started asking into it. And I started asking the angels of the 7 storms, the angels of the earth, because they are the council that are going to help us through this. And I said, what are you telling me? And all I heard that it had something to do with our liberty and losing our liberties. And this morning I got a little clearer on that, but I'll talk more about that in just a moment. All night long, I tried to go to sleep, and all night long I saw, every time I close my eyes, the feet of the Statue of Liberty, which I've never seen before. I looked them up. Um, and and I saw her feet, and water started, rushing over the top of them. And then all of a sudden I saw mud coming up around the edges and over the top and I thought, my gosh, she's sinking. She is sinking. And it was disturbing me. It did disturb me. So I started asking into it and asking the council if they would help me to understand. And again, I don't have 100% clear vision of this. And while no one wants to hear negative things, there are things going on in this world, and many of those things we cannot change. I am told that this cup will not pass us by. I keep hearing those words. This cup will not pass us by. Can we lessen it? Yes, we can lessen it collectively as we take this body, this united body of cells, and we stay centered and we go inside and we realign our body, as we align the energy in our environment, as we eat healthy, aligned food that's in alignment with the health of our bodies. We can do something to help dissipate these storms, some, but they will not pass us by completely. And that's not a message that I wanted to hear. I think that any of us wanted to hear. We wanted to think that we were going to be able to just do something and make this go away. And we're not going to be able to do that, because this is part of the change that we must go through. And there are decisions that are being made right now with each individual where there is a fork in the road. And I've talked about this fork before, where we can take the fork towards liberty and justice for all, or we can take a fork that will divide and will divide and will divide and never unite us, except for in our pain. So we have choices, each one of us, that we must make now. And part of that has to do with an article that I was sent. I just got reconnected with a cousin of mine, and I haven't heard from him, seen him in years. And I saw his name pop up on Facebook, and I thought, I need to become friends with him and just see what he's up to, because I had no idea. I haven't seen him in many, many years. And so I went to his page, and there was an article, and I passed it on to Ferris, and I posted it on social media, that feels very, very powerful when it comes to giving up our liberties. And it has to do with all the conspiracy stuff that's going around. And just like we were shown in each one of these storms, as they were introduced in such intricate ways, and the angels were introduced to us in such intricate ways with such full personalities. And then we get to the end to learn that what we are being asked to do is to go inside to find the truth of who we are, the divinity of who we are, and connect with that. It is that simple. And what is happening to us is that we are buying into these complicated theories, these conspiracy theories out there that are taking away, that are robbing us of our liberty. They are creating the storms. And so as I was being given this information, I was told it is time to invite in the left gate, and that is Ferris. And Ferris, I know that you haven't had time to really study the article, and you just briefly went over it this morning, but I would love for you to just talk with everybody or share your understanding of what this, of these, how these conspiracy theories are formed and the why.
Well, like I told you, I'm not really prepared for that.
Right.
Uh, the article is excellent, and I hope everybody will read it. Uh, it's often easy to buy into a conspiracy theory, especially if it helps to confirm our already existing biases. And I'm not talking about just right-wing conspiracy theories. Uh, it's easy to buy into the left-wing ones too. Uh, and I have bought into a couple of them in the past. I have a motto that 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 I haven't talked about in a long time, and that is, I'll believe anything for a week, sometimes longer. And the reason I developed that motto is to remind me that when I hear something that is just too good to be true, and I believe it anyway, maybe it is too good to be true. When you hear these conspiracy theories, like there's a pizza parlor with a basement where people are where there's a pedophile ring. Try it on. Go ahead, try it on, and ask yourself, just how likely is it to be true? Especially when the pizza parlor doesn't have a damn basement. I really don't know where to go with this right now.
You just gave us the most important thing, Ferris, which is to try it on and see how it feels. If at first it's rejected, believe that. You know, we come up with these fanciful things, you know, just, I look at these storms and we've gone through this whole thing that's just been exciting, very exciting. And I'm still getting so much more information every single day. And yet when it comes down to it, the answer is simple. And we forget it, or we get bored with simplicity, and we want things to be more grand than they are, you know, more exciting in some way. And we don't want to learn. We've got to go inside. We want to do something else. No, it's got to be something else bigger than that. And
when you try on this new belief, this new information, try it on with consciousness.
yes.
Try it on with awareness that that's what you're doing. You're trying it on. In 71 years, I have had to let go of a lot of beliefs when I found out that they were bullshit. And yes, there is a link to it. It's a very long link. And I will email it to myself and then put it. Cindy, do you have it where you can put it in chat?
Yeah, I'm going to try and see if I can find it here.
I've got it, but it'll take me a few minutes to get it to where I can put it in chat.
Okay.
Actually, I think we should put it in the replay email.
Yeah, we should. everybody really needs to read this. I was so impressed by how well done it is. And I don't know the guy, but you can tell by the intelligent way that he talks about this. It will, I just want to know everybody's thoughts on it. There it is. Medium.com is his name. I mean, it's his site. And
I've never seen that site before. I'm not
I haven't
familiar with it at all.
And I kept, Ferris, it kept coming up. Yes, Patricia said, yes, she shared that. Great. And I kept, when I saw the Statue of Liberty without the points, it kept pointing towards, we're knocking off the parts of our own liberty. We're destroying our own liberty with this. And that's what it feels like. And if we're not careful, that liberty is going to sink into the mud and keep going, and we're not going to get it back. So we cannot afford to buy into this stuff. We've got to take the mask, and this is, when I just closed my eyes a moment ago, this is what I was receiving. There's a mask that of consciousness that you can wrap yourself in to protect yourself from this bull, or to check out this bull to see if it gets through. If it's fresh air, let it through. That's truth. If it isn't, reject it. One of the things that I keep getting again and again, and I know many spiritual leaders disagree with me on this, and I hear this all the time, that this virus is man-made in a laboratory. I keep getting the same thing over and over and over and over. And yesterday I spent half the day researching this, and different universities have been doing research on this virus. What I was told is that this virus, yes, is man-made, but it was created in the hearts of man. It was spread through what was done with it once it was here. There is no laboratory that created it anywhere. And so that's what I wanted to find out, because I'm like, but gosh, we haven't had anything take hold in the world like this. And it was one of those things that I had to try on, but I had to cover myself in a protective layer of consciousness and do my due diligence and go out there. And I went from one university site to the other. And they said that when something is manufactured or created in a laboratory, that there is, how did they call it?
There's a little sticker that says "Made in China."
Right. Oh God, Ferris. That's our humor for the day, everybody.
Excuse me, it says HO in China.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not genetically modified. If a virus or anything that we have is genetically modified, they can identify that. It's very easy to identify. And there's not a single laboratory that's credible, that is credible. And not a single research center that is credible that has found it anything other than coming from a natural source, which is animals. You know, this is a virus that comes from animals and you know, was picked up by humans. And again, I don't know how it's done. I don't know that much about the science part of it. Probably Ferris's son, since he lives in the laboratory, works in research, could tell us. But there's not one single in the dozens and dozens and dozens of websites that I visited that did the research. There said there is no evidence, not one single shred of evidence anywhere that this is genetically modified. And they can tell that That's how they know it was not created. It was not let loose in any way, but it did visit us for a purpose. And that is to wake us up. And that which has divided us, the hate, the discord, the disinformation, all of the things that have divided us has now united us through this virus. It is an equal opportunity virus. Anyone can get it. They don't care how old or how young. They don't. It does not care if you're rich or poor or what party you belong to or what world. Where you live in the world. It does not care about the color of your skin. It will. Anyone can get it. How you are in your own physiology, your own alignment within your physiology will affect how badly this will affect you. And some people, just genetics, age, different things, health issues, it's going to affect people, some people more than others. And again, I spent countless hours. I was supposed to be doing something else yesterday. I was supposed to be helping Ferris downstairs clean up after the little flood we had and put the floor back down. And instead I found myself having to research because this disinformation is stilling our liberty by blaming one group or another. I posted, and I can post this on our regular site, but I posted something that was also on Jeff Wallen's site this morning. I put it on my Facebook page. Let me go over here so I can see it. Because I just thought it was perfect. It was, Ferris, do you remember? Did you see it?
No.
Oh, okay. Rod Sterling, picture of Rod Sterling. If anybody remembers him, he was from the Twilight Zone. And it says,
Well, he wasn't from the Twilight Zone.
Well,
maybe he was.
The host of the Twilight Zone. He could
with his imagination, maybe he was from the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. And it says, imagine, if you will, a virus so intelligent that it knows the difference between Walmart and a church. Folks, we all have to stay focused on the truth. And the truth is within. The kingdom of God is within. The Savior is within. And every cell, the unity that brought you to this world and then divided and divided and divided. I keep getting shown this. You became a united being. And within that houses this intelligence of God, of the I am. All this superfluous stuff all around us, it's useless to us, to keeping healthy, to keeping in alignment, to keeping whole. The seventh storm, rebellion for rebellion's sake, invites the absolute destruction of order. It can destroy the divine order within. When we started this journey, I was told that there would be buy-in from many spiritual leaders, and not in a hateful way, in a very loving way, but they just, people need that grandeur, something bigger than what's the simpleness of who we are. It's very simple. We are the I am that I am. It's that simple. And we try to make it into something bigger than it is. And that can destroy us. Sorry if it's boring.
I will point out one of the things in this article that that really stepped on my toes was that the idea of buying into conspiracy theories, if you know what the conspiracy is, you're in on the secret. You know things that other people don't. And God, I love to know things that other people don't. And I thought, okay, this part's just stupid because it's talking about me. He done quit preaching and gone to meddling. Anyway, the Spanish flu, Ebola, HIV, SARS, every one of them came with a conspiracy theory. The Spanish flu, people thought, some people thought radio waves, because radio was new right then. Some people thought radio waves created the Spanish flu. There are still people who use that.
Mhm.
When they talk about 5G creating what's the thing going? Oh, COVID. HIV was either man-made, created, or the punishment of God. The difference between all of them and COVID is COVID has people with nice video cameras that can make really good YouTube videos to spread it.
Mhm.
And that sort of thing is just going to get worse.
And that's going to be what brings down our democracy wherever we live,
If we're not careful.
if we're not careful. I was told that Friday that 250,000 people will die by the onset of winter, which is December 21st. I have no reason to doubt this. When I got, on May 7th, when I was told 77,000 more people would die of the coronavirus by the end of July, it was by the end of the night. The last time that I checked, I was told that it would be 7,700, 666. By the time I went to bed, it was 77,407 or 408, something like that, by the time that I went to bed. So because of the accuracy of everything that I'm being told, and I'm told that I'm being given these things so that we have proof that what I am being brought, what is being brought forward through me is truth, and they want you to know. So they're giving me information that is truth. Just like Andrew today, that they said he needs to know that what you are giving is the truth, so tell him this. So he must have a lot of questions going on. We all have questions going on. So yes, no, not in total, this is additional 250,000 between the flu, Ferris, what did I tell you? The flu and the virus by December 21st. If we do nothing about it, at this point, we still have choices. But just like on May 7th, when I was, or 6th, whatever it was, 7th, when I was given that 77,000 more would die by the end of July, at that point, we could not turn around. They said, soon you will not be able to turn that around. We still could have on that date. We still could have. And then about a week later, the day I felt that we're not going to turn this around, and it was Memorial Day. There still is. There's a next off-ramp, and there are portals for us to be able to, off-ramp portals that we can take to get off this path. But it starts with us by uniting what has been divided within our own self. And I saw I saw a flame. It was like I could see the heart, and it split open here. And as it split, a flame started coming from the heart. And it says, within our own hearts, we are being divided. And I'm like, okay, where am I divided? You know, I'm a pretty opinionated person, but when it comes to being in the world viewing room, I cannot lie here. I cannot be judgmental here. I get kicked out. Can I tell you the information that I'm being given? Yes. And if it goes against what you're currently believing, I have to just let that go, because I'm told I can't judge that. Everybody has to believe what they're going to believe, and I have no influence over that at all, other than to tell you the truth and to be given these markers, these things that I see, and for them to come to fruition. And at this point, I'm not even sure that what I am seeing with the Statue of Liberty won't come to pass. I said, is this really going to happen? Is she going to really lose those points? Or is that metaphoric? I don't know. I don't have those answers. You know, I was given a message, and I'm going to go over here and just read this. And this was directly from God. And I didn't know if I should share this or not, but this is what I was given. And again, I always told you that I would tell you the truth. So when I hear these things, it just feels like I'm supposed to, even though it is not the bright and shiny thing that everybody wants it to be. Because the thing is, things happen. Things happen, and sometimes we are not meant to stop them, because we cannot interfere. And I've said this so many times, we cannot interfere with somebody else's soul contract. And we have a collective soul contract that we are in the midst of that will create a new world order. But that world order can go down a dark path, or it can go down the light path. It's truly up to us. And we can start, while we can't represent everybody, if we have 5%, if we can get 5% of the people to understand this, really understand this, that unity of that 5% will change the course of what's going to happen, of what the potential of what's going to happen. So here is what God told me, and wanted me to do a video, which I didn't do because I was too emotional about it. Here, I'm able to calm my emotions more when I'm in the world viewing room, and I know I'm protected. In April, I was told by May 7th, there would be 77,000 reported deaths from the coronavirus. Then I was told by the end of July, 77,000 more would die. And I was asked to post it on social media, which I did, and I told everybody because I was asked to share it. So I did, even though I don't often like to put things out there that are controversial, because I just don't want the feedback from people. But I was told that I needed to do that. On May 7th, 77,000 people, we reached that 77,000. And then, as I said, you know, the end of July, by the time I went to bed, it was 77,407. I told one of my sisters, and she wrote me off as a nut and hasn't talked to me since. And I asked God, please help me to understand all of this. And he said, we must give you insights on what's happening so people know that what you are doing is authentic and from me. And I heard God say, winter is coming. By the time it clocks in, 250,000 more reported deaths from the coronavirus and flu if nothing is done. Yes, it is man-made. It was created in our internal laboratory. The virus came from nature, and man spread it and made it something worse. The hate and the self-righteousness that has gone viral has become a virus, and it will not start until the hearts of men are changed. And that means men and women. God said, I talk to you too. I have always talked to you. But for many, you could not hear me. But you see, I heard you. You asked me for a savior, and I gave you one. But then you replaced that savior with the golden calf of conspiracy. For those who do not believe, for those who do not heed my warning, for thinking that this virus is fake. Know that when you are lying in bed, gasping for a breath, or when you cannot see your loved one who is in the hospital dying, or when you are mourning the death of a loved one or the death of your country, that you will call out. Who will you call out to? Will you call out, oh Breitbart, save me. Oh QAnon, save my family. Oh Fox News, save our country. No, no, you will be calling me. For the Savior that you have abandoned for a false God has caused this. And when you are calling out, I will finally have your attention. Will you then walk with me? Will you then understand that I am in your heart? That we are one, that the kingdom of God is within. Will you understand? And will you stay with me? Will you continue to walk with me? Or will you only stay long enough to live and then abandon me once again for another conspiracy God, for another false God? Do not manipulate my words. Do not twist their meaning. Do not buy in to false gods, or your liberty will be gone. And it will be many, many years before you can regain it. God's talking to each and every one of us, not just me. As I said, I was told in the beginning, in the very beginning, that I wouldn't be the only one that gets this, that we all would. And Sandy said there's something like 675,000 deaths in the US alone from the Spanish flu. And there was a much smaller population. For the people that are going out there and they think that they can snub this, you know, that's rebellion for rebellion's sake. And as I understand that, it's what's going to defeat that individual because they're not in alignment with God. There is only one divine order. The rest of it doesn't fit in. And so I have my opinion about things and I'll continue to be opinionated, I'm sure, but not when I'm here because I just have to read. I just have to hear what God says and asks me to say, or what I am asked to channel through the angels of the earth. And she says, not more. It can go up. Yes, it can go up. If things aren't done, if people are reckless, it could go up. I wonder if there was a spiritual lesson for the world that the Spanish flu was meant to bring. I'm sure. We learn something every time. But the thing is, just as soon as it's over, just like God said, you know, just as soon as you pray, you talk to me and you listen and you say, oh God, I'm listening, I'm aligning myself. And then as soon as this is past, then we go back to, oh, look, a conspiracy theory. I'm going to follow that path. Or, oh, look, you know, there's somebody idol, a false idol over here that I can follow. No, we have to go in. All of this, these 7 storms are asking us to go within because the truth is simple. The truth is simple. I am the truth and the light. Ferris, do you want to contribute to that? Talk a little bit about the Spanish flu or any of those?
Well, Suzanne just said earlier that basically the Spanish flu was much worse than now. Even the countries that are doing the worst now are doing better, are still better off than people were at that time. And of course, we didn't have the medical facilities at that time that we have now. We didn't have awareness of how to treat viruses. I don't know if there's any other particular lesson from that. Patricia just said that in researching the 7 rays of the Statue of Liberty, I found that they represent the 7 seas and the 7 continents. Although this is disputed on one side, it matches the symbol and it was used on French coins. I think the symbolism in this of the statue has I don't think anybody knows exactly what the symbolism, the intentions were of the artist and the guy who was basically supporting the artist. Neither one of them actually came out and said, this is what we're doing. So the symbolism apparently has changed over the years. It seems like the guy who was the financial backer was a staunch abolitionist, and apparently the statue was a celebration of the death of slavery in the United States, but he never actually came out and said so. So it gives everybody the ability to create their own symbolism, which is probably not a bad thing.
And Ferris, God also said, and I said this the other day, science is the path to understanding me. That's what God said. Science is the path to understanding me. So when we look at all these things and we try to put these things together, from the world, from outside of us, again, we're being told, look at the evidence. And that's what we were told, Ferris. We were told that there would be evidence, there'd be proof. Gary showing up after I got the Statue of Liberty and showing me that morning or night before, I don't know when it was, the lightning that hit the Statue of Liberty. When I save pictures on of an artist that I want, and then someone gets the same hit and they have a picture sent to me as Sandra did, there's always evidence around you. If you don't see the evidence, then it's not of God. That's the way that I feel about this. That's what I'm being told. So there was all that conspiracy a long time ago, like you were saying, Ferris, around everything. And it's happening yet again. Will it ever stop? No, it will never stop, because people love, that's why movies do so well. Patricia says, what is it? And the symbol of liberties in the Roman times was a cat. Every time I visit the World Viewing Room, since the beginning of, the very first day I was there was a white cat to the right of me. And that symbolizes liberty. Wow. Yeah, and that animal, I'm told, can be any animal that you want to be. Ferris, you want to go ahead and read these as they're coming in?
Well, they're coming in too fast, and I'm not able to.
Oh, okay. I'll try and scroll through them in.
You want to start at the top?
Let's go ahead and start at the bottom, since that's what's
okay
relevant to our current conversation.
Well, then they're going to be out of context. Suzanne says, I'm wondering what liberty is being threatened. Liberty to freely roam the 7 continents because of the pandemic out of hand? I don't know. And she says she's always got that deleting the trauma of the Spanish flu out of humanity is part of the change. Cherry said, but America was so much more rural during the Spanish flu, much less dependent on going out in urban areas. But it was and I really don't know that much about it. My understanding has always been that the majority of the deaths were in urban areas. A lot of the population was concentrated in cities. The 7 Seas thing we've already read. Tony said, I wonder if there's a spiritual lesson for the world that the Spanish flu was meant to bring. And Linda said, excellent sermon. I'd love a copy in writing.
I guess it will be in the book, although it's already 600 pages, everybody. I've got a lot of editing to do. I couldn't believe it when I put it all together, and I'm like, we had everything that we've done transcribed, and I started putting it together, and once I started, it was overwhelming, so I had to break it down to part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. And I'm like, how am I going to fit this into 200 or 300 pages? And we're still getting more information. So
Sandy said
Two books.
something like 675,000 deaths in the U.S. alone from the Spanish flu. And yeah, it was a much smaller population then than now. So the death rate from the Spanish flu was much higher than from this. Patricia said, yes, where's the next off-ramp?
The next offering for,
Yeah. That was in response to.
It was the next fork in the road you were talking about. We had one in May, and I think the next one you said is November. The next off ramp to change things, adjust our course.
okay. And Patricia, you and I had talked about this, and I really want to invite you in. And I know that we're a little over everybody, but just feels so important because the time to change that is now. And we are given portals along the way. July 12th felt like a portal. It was an opportunity for change. And I didn't know the significance of that day until I forgot to talk about this until later. And sometimes I just don't. And I knew it had something to do with 45 wearing a mask. And it was all over the news that day. It was a time when we could have taken that off ramp. That was our portal to change what is about to come. And this, it wasn't taken. I mean, it was for a few days, and then now it's back to, you know, people fighting. So the next off ramp, I've got the only other date that is firm that I have is November 10th. And it is very significant that the July 12th, excuse me, seemed not as, it seemed important, but not as important. And I don't have any other dates yet. The only other one that I have is November 10th. So I don't know if there's something along the way. And Patricia, can you explain how these portals work? Because I really don't understand them. I get the information, but I don't fully understand how they work.
Okay, here I am. Sorry, I'm on my other computer as well. So, yeah, I think it's just where things line up. I don't completely understand them as well. I just know that there are certain ways that even in astrology where things line up, and it's easier to make a shift, and we will be given certain dates where it will just be easier to maybe jump timelines, to maybe switch things up, to turn a corner. And when that passes and not enough people move, and it doesn't take a lot. I mean, they always say it takes 5 to 10% of the population to really make a huge shift. So it's not a lot, but enough people have to make the decision. It can't just be a few. So there's a critical mass, I suppose. And it's just when things line up. Sometimes it's astrological, sometimes it's just, I feel like it's almost a gift that we're giving, or that we're given, where here's a place where you can shift things. We're being helped by the angels. Like, here's an off ramp we're being shown, and who gets a chance to take advantage of it.
Well,
that's the best I have right now.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And by the way, Patricia is one of our guests. You're going to be Tuesday, right?
I think Masami is Tuesday. She's going to do the August forecast on this coming Tuesday.
Okay.
And then I'm looking at maybe the next Tuesday. I forget the date. And then we'll talk about some other times to come on. But yeah, I want to kind of work with some Taoist principles, some older ways of working with energy that can really help us center ourselves, because it starts with us. We can have the best impact if we are centered. So there's some good practices to do that.
That's beautiful, because that's what that's what I've been told, is that there are other practices that exist that we will bring in for each of the storms to help dissipate the storms within, because that's what it's telling us, dissipate those storms within. And that's in alignment. Unite what has been divided internally. We have been divided from our truth. I am concerned about the liberties such as voting rights. Yes, I am. I am too. Freedoms of speech, journalists' right. Yep. Immigration rights, all of which the Statue of Liberty. And the Statue of Liberty, even though for those of you who are in other countries, everyone knows the Statue of Liberty. It's a famous landmark, and it is being used, it feels like to me, and I'm asking for confirmation of this, but it's being used because it's such a symbol of liberty that it's being used internationally, not just about the US. So that's what I'm feeling. And yes, our voting rights are definitely under attack. So those are the things that we've got to get out there and, you know, actively be a part of. You know, I keep getting, don't be just a keyboard activist. That's important, but there's so much noise there that we've got to do something. We've got to do something to create that change, whatever that feels like for you. If it's getting masks and handing them out to people, or stopping and just saying, I notice you're not wearing a mask. What is the reason for that? You know, can you explain, tell me a little bit about yourself? And, you know, getting to know each other by isolating ourselves from everybody who completely disagrees. Now, if it's somebody who is rude or they threaten me in some way, I just unfriend them online, or, you know, I don't let them in my life. But if it's somebody that just simply disagrees, but there's no violence or hatred, I don't know how to explain that, but if there's no heat in it like that, and doesn't make me feel heavy, then I can, you know, engage with them and I'm fine. But it's the people where there's a lot of heat that comes with it. I've just had to learn to take a deep breath and walk away. There was this scene in a movie that I watched, a witch movie, when I was a kid. And I don't remember anything about the movie other than this. And there was this witch that was hugging this little girl. And as she hugged the little girl, went to embrace her, her claws came out like this. And the little girl said, I just want to thank you. And I love you. And you saw the claws retract and they embraced, and you could feel the love from them. You know, this is our opportunity, that when we feel that way, we let those claws retract and embrace people who are truly capable of being help to understand what's really going on. You know, if we show love, then they will go, oh, I want more of that. It's like the guy that befriended a Ku Klux Klan member. And he even he was a black man, and he went to these rallies with this guy. And pretty soon this guy said, you know, my black friend has done more for me in my life than you ever have. And he denounced the Ku Klux Klan. Do you remember who that guy was?
No, I'm not
Okay.
familiar with that.
Okay, I've got the story somewhere, and he was a preacher. And, you know, he said, no, you have to sometimes go in the lion den if you're going to create change. And it was just beautiful. And, you know, it showed the two guys together, and it showed them at the Klan's rally and everything else. And he said, no, that's what I was led to do. You don't have to do something like that if you're not led to, but do something, whatever you're led to. And love, that's the internal structure. That is the truth and the light. Bernadette said she shared that on Facebook. Yes. And I think it's on my Facebook page too. It has a lot of tension to it. What is that? Ferris, can you go ahead, and I can't back up to,
I meant the full moon. The full moon has got a lot of tension to it. So it might seem to be worse than it really is.
what was that, Susan?
I read about the full moon this afternoon, and there's a lot of tension. There's 90-degree to Uranus, and there's another constellation like that with Mercury and another one. No, the Mercury has there are two constellations like this or like this. And so maybe only the tension will come up. And sometimes one gets discouraged if things come up. So just keep your bearings, I'd say.
Yeah. And remember, astrology is divine order. And people, you know, I know people, well, I used to be one of those people that poo-pooed it a lot. And then I was told by the divine, Suzanne, to watch the tide on the full moon. And we're mostly water. Then if it kicks up the tide, which it does, it can kick up the tide during that time. You go to the emergency rooms and there's more people there. My sister never believed that until she became a nurse, and in school she had to work the emergency room, and she goes, oh my gosh, this is true. You know, and there's divine order in that. So, you know, pay attention to what, you know, we know in astrology. There's accuracy there. And that's what you're saying, right, Suzanne?
Yes.
In what's
Just
going
sharing what came to me today.
on. Okay.
But astrology is still the ways of the earth. Miracles are beyond astrology.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the natural order. It's not cast in stone.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Any other comments that we need to read? And then we're going to...
I think we're good. Oh, let's see. Kathleen said the addiction and need for drama stems from disconnection and trauma. The intrigue of conspiracy theories gives people a sense of enlivenment. Did you mean enlivenment or enlightenment? Well, both, I guess. And power, however temporary. It seems bringing forth opportunities for authentic connection and enlivenment is part of the answer. Yeah. That's not only impressive for being so enlightened, it's also impressive that she typed it on an iPhone.
Wow. And Anya just said that she has confirmation about the mud story. Anya, you want to go ahead and come on?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I didn't
Hey,
see
Anya.
your email till just 5 minutes ago. I was on the phone with my parents this morning, as I usually am Sunday, just to chat, have our weekly chat. And my mom was talking she saw a news story where in Germany, some people went hiking out on the North Sea in an area where they're not supposed to hike, and they got stuck in the mud up to their hair. They had to be rescued from rescuers that went on surfboards, and even the rescuers got muddy by just pulling them out. But those people were careless. They didn't see the signs that they're not supposed to go hiking in that area, and they went anyway. And as the water got high, that area got super muddy, and they just couldn't move.
Holy cow.
So deep into the mud, they couldn't move. So that's the story we talked about this morning, while you guys were probably discussing the story, which I didn't see because I was on the phone with my parents, but I was like, it's the mud story. There's your confirmation.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. I just got chills all over the place. Yeah.
Oh, and I'm realizing I'm wearing my Safe Ferris shirt today. I don't know.
I've still got the sign up here that you
Yeah.
did for us. Thank you. I never did get out to get a t-shirt to have mine made. because I have to stay in because I'm taking care of Farah. So.
Oh, no problem. But I just realized that I'm wearing that Say Fair shirt today. So
That's great. Yay, Sarah Farah.
and that's really, and the other interesting thing we were talking about with my parents is the difference of what the German the people who've been growing up there and the difference between the refugees and how these differences are really coming out right now and how the political parties are abusing that. And they're not showing the whole picture. So I don't know if that's any confirmation for you with that, but I thought that was an interesting discussion that I had with my parents this morning as well.
Wow. Yes. And you know, with this, you know, the story of the mud, Anya, that we are, through our rebellion, we are ripping away our own liberties. We are destroying our own liberties, just like they almost lost their their life through rebellion for rebellion's sake.
Yeah.
Warnings are there for a reason, and we're seeing the warnings all over the place.
And they didn't heed the warnings.
Yes.
There were signs, and they didn't heed them.
And we were given signs every day. You know, it reminds me of that story. Once again, we've heard over the years, many, many times, you know, a guy was drowning and he said, God, save me, save me. And God, you know, here comes a boat. And the guy said, no, I don't rescue me. God's going to rescue me. And then a ship comes along and they said, let me help you. No, God's going to save me. Then comes a helicopter. No, you don't have to rescue me. God's going to rescue me. And he dies, he goes to heaven, and God says, he said, God, why didn't you save me? Well, I sent you a boat, a ship, and a helicopter. So we're not looking for the signs. We're trying to move past what we are given. We forget we are three-dimensional beings. We're living in a three-dimensional world. Even though we have access to that fifth dimension and we have that access, we can never forget we are in this physical three-dimensional body right now as we're going through this journey. And you've got to do what it takes to support this, as well as your spiritual growth and your higher understanding of the other dimensions. Where it's like people forget one and just focus on the other. Well, you know, we're still in a physical body. Honor that. Does that make sense, Anya?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm personally hearing that message, and sometimes I'm having a hard time actualizing it, because in day-to-day life, it's like we put blinders on, you know, just to sort of go through. It's that the Aries influence, or, you know, that kind of, I'm just going to do what I need to do, put on my horns and get it done, you know? And sometimes I'm struggling with that.
Yeah, I think we all do. Because we want to play in that other dimension, just like conspiracy theories. That other dimension's more exciting, more fun. But then I keep getting pulled back down. That's why, you know, my in human design, I'm juxtaposition. So I am truly meant to be a channel between heaven and earth. It's right in my human design chart, and it's apparently rare. So I'm meant to operate out of both sides of the brain and be the connection between heaven and earth.
And we're so thankful to have you in that position. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I didn't know there was such a thing until I was told, and I went, that sure explains a lot about how I process, you know, and how things come to me. So right now I just got to trust that it's accurate, and I have not received anything so far that hasn't been proven just like this. So I thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
A great example. And
Dolores has got her hand up.
Okay.
Doll, what you got? Can you unmute yourself?
Can you
There
hear
you
me
go.
now? Can
Yep.
you hear me? Okay. I have this poem that I wrote probably about 18 years ago. And I think it really pertains to what we're dealing with right now. And I also have another poem that was actually channeled to me from God called The I Am.
Can you post those, Dee, on our Facebook page?
I'll do
we're
my best. I'm not really good at that, so I'll do my best.
Okay, yeah, if you can. If not, then we will have you read them another time, because we're already at an hour and a half. So I want to respect everybody's time. So if you could, maybe next week we could have you read them, or if you could post them, I would love that so much.
Well, I'll do my best. Like I say, I'm not real tech savvy with all that stuff, so.
Okay, all right, and if not, then we'll have you do it next week. Will you do that?
Yeah, I'll do my best to do that. So.
Okay, yeah,
or send it to me and I'll post it for you.
Okay. I'll try and take a picture of my phone and send it to you, I guess. Would be the best way.
You can just email it to me.
Yeah, if you can do that. But if not, Dee, I kind of would like to hear it in your own voice.
Okay.
I would. So
Yeah.
if you could save it for next week, and then we can do that in the World Viewing Room, if you're willing to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
you. The one that I lit a candle is not very long, but the other one is a little longer, but yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Whatever's best for everybody.
Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead, and it's time to leave the World Viewing Room. And just close your eyes. And allow your breath to float in all the way to the lower lobes. Where it creates that beautiful relaxation response, activates the parasympathetic. And another nice deep breath. And remember that these are things that we are being told about so that we can do something about them, so that we can be proactive in our lives. Not something to fear. We can be active and we will be just fine. Focus inside on that light inside. As you take another nice deep breath in. And release. And with our final breath here in the World Viewing Room, allow yourself just to float back to the earth. And as you release, you're coming back into your body. And allow the calm and the protection that we have from the Light Brigade, from all of the divine forces that we have working for us to support us. They are with us always. Take your last deep breath here on earth. Well, no, not your last deep breath, but for this moment before you open your eyes and just chuckle over that. We're going to end this on a chuckle. It's so interesting how many times the breath is brought up. In George Floyd and other beautiful souls who have been killed, that their last words were, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. To the people with COVID, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And for us being told to breathe, and center yourself on that breath. It's important. I even put it on my screen, what's it called, a screensaver, so that it comes up to remind me to just stop and breathe and know that we are wholeness inside. We are united within with all that is. I love each and every one of you. And Kathleen says, thank you for all of this. Lots of love and joy, and lots of love and joy to all of you. And I'm going to be writing all week long. So Masami is going to be here to host on Tuesday. Friday, I'm going to be interviewed here by Lorelei about the 7 storms. And by then I will have all of the 7 storms. I'm hoping that I'll have them all really condensed. That's what I'm working on right now. It's just the storms and how they revealed themselves to me. So hopefully we'll be done with that. And she's going to interview me about the 7 storms next Friday. And then we'll give you the schedule past that. So I love you all. Thank you so very much. And I thank everybody that's coming forward, that's willing to be a guest host here. So I thank you. Let's open up the line and everybody.
And y'all stay out of the mud.
Yes. Yes, please.
Or at least if you go into the mud, make sure you've got Lassie with you so she can get somebody to come rescue you.
Well, I love you all. Open up the line and everybody say bye. And
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
That was
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The Facebook mud.
Blessings.
Yes, the Facebook mud. Stay out of the mud.
Good
Yeah.
Patricia.
Yeah, good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.